It's been seen as a crucial test case. A federal judge in New Hampshire has blocked Donald Trump's order to end birthright citizenship. Babies born in the U.S. automatically are entitled to citizenship, something U.S. President Trump wants to stop. Groups that would be affected, undocumented immigrants, of course, and many Indians legally here in the U.S. as well who are working or perhaps studying. Now, the legal drama around it remains extremely complicated. Just last month saw the Supreme Court in a case related to birthright citizenship back Trump in his request to curb nationwide injunctions from lower courts. Let's try and make sense of this back and forth, which can be somewhat of a head spinner, but not a head spinner for our next guest here, or our first guest on the show, David Leopold, an immigration attorney. David is also former president of the American Immigration Lawyers Association. David, thank you for your time here on Washington Watch. David, how did a lower court, this federal court judge, manage to block Trump's order despite what the Supreme Court said 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, let me get to that. That's a very good question. And let me make 3 quick points before I get there. What we're seeing across the United States right now is an all-out attack on due process. And that's what brings in the birthright citizenship. So it's an all-out attack by this administration on due process. Point 1. Point 2, it's a smokescreen. It's a smokescreen for the fact that they're taking away Medicare from people, that they're cutting education benefits, they're taking money away from veterans, the arts, and on and on. And finally, this is not what America is. This is plain ugliness. And this is not Americans. This country is built on taking care of each other, built on immigration, built on the best and the brightest coming here, working hard, and making a life for themselves and their family. And the ugliness that we're seeing across this country just doesn't fit into who we are. Now, to the birthright citizenship question and the court issuing a nationwide injunction, what the Supreme Court's decision of a couple of weeks ago did was basically turn the tables and send everything back to the lower courts to figure out exactly what to do in these situations. In other words, the court said, well, we're not going to have federal judges generally issuing nationwide injunctions, but we are going to have them looking at other statutes, for example, such as the class action rules. And that's what this judge did here. He said that the class of mothers, so the class of babies, the class of children that were born in the United States, which, as you correctly point out, includes so many South Asians, people from India, who are here studying, who are here producing, who are here adding to the economy and to the fabric of our culture. Their children should be U.S. citizens as well. And so what this judge did was he certified this class, and he put a hold on it.
So basically using a sort of exemption, the Supreme Court order really left room for broader relief through this filing of a class action lawsuit, in this case, all kids who will be affected by Trump's order. David, how significant is this ruling then by the federal judge, given that this is most definitely going to be appealed by the Trump administration?
Well, it's significant because the federal judge has begun to extrapolate or define what the Supreme Court has done in the CASA case, which was the birthright citizenship case that was decided a couple of weeks ago. Remember what that case did. The Supreme Court did not decide on the merits of the birthright citizenship executive order. That's the order that President Trump put out shortly after he became president, that said the children of undocumented immigrants are not U.S. citizens, and the children of folks on H-1Bs, visas, O-1 visas, and others, J-1 exchange visitors, are not U.S. citizens. He put a hold on that, this new judge. And what he did was he did it in the context of the Supreme Court's decision. So it's framed in the context of a certified class action. And it's important because it'll be the first framing of the issue before it makes its way back to the Supreme Court. That's why it's important. We all know it's going to be appealed, but it's important for 2 reasons. Number one, temporarily gives some relief to all of us from the chaos that has ensued from this executive order on birthright citizenship, number one. And number two, it begins to carve out the position,
Right.
the legal position that the Supreme Court will have to adjudicate later in the year or probably next term.
Okay. David, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time here on Washington Watch.